are your disciplines. Success in the market is 100% discipline. Because if you're not disciplined, you don't follow your rules, you will get your butt kicked and you lose all your money. And then once you get tired of losing all your money, you have to follow the rules. So might as well just stick to your rules, your game plan, and have and pretty much what trading is that you need to focus on not trying to make money, but your goal is to practice doing it really well, because eventually once you do something really well, the money will come in by itself. So your goal is to learn how the system works and practice it, ton of practice. So a lot of times what I tell people is to, or what I've learned is that ideally you want to practice in the market for about a year, because it takes, you'll see different patterns in seasonality, which I'll explain later. But like I said, don't trade on emotions and trade other people's tips. Just follow your rules and your guidelines, because if you don't follow your rules, you don't know what you did wrong, and you can't change those, right? So just be very mindful. Your mindset is very important. And make sure you have a strategy. And this is the money management rule that I learned from Chris Hansen, who also teaches a class of Profit on Wall Street. And so what I did before is similar to these. Hey, what's up, Alfonso? Hi, it's a pizza.
Thanks.
What's that? Right, so moving on. So before I had some long-term investment, I had some short-term investment, but I didn't really know how to put them all together. And I think Chris Hansen put it really well, where you have your trading account, which is your short-term accounts, where you trade option, because those are high risk but high reward. And that's the reason why you only use a very small trade size, which is about $1,000 to start off with to learn, right? Because if you lose it, you only lose 1,000. You don't lose 10,000 or whatever. So it's better to lose with a small amount. And with options, you can potentially get anywhere between 20 to 100% or more per trade, because you buy options. Okay. And then the next approach is your medium account is your income account, which is you trade stocks. So your goal in this account is to be able to replicate your monthly paycheck. So if you're making $5,000 a month, your goal is to try to replicate that using stocks. And then your long-term holding is pretty much you buy stuff when it's on sale. So that's why luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? Because when the market goes on sale, when it tanks like 1,000 points, that's your opportunity to look at. You should have a watch list of really good companies that you want to buy. And when it tanks hard, okay, time to scoop out some. You don't have to go all in, but buy some, because when the market falls, things are on sale. Okay, so that's the type of mindset and the mentality that we've been using. And Singh has been doing that for the past 10 years, and he's doing pretty well with that. All right, so before I move on, Kevin is going to review some of the calls and put concepts, but he's going to put it in a better term, because we ran out of time last time. So today we're going to have a little more time for Kevin to explain more in detail. So here we go, sir.
All right, thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. All right. So I know last week we covered, talked about call option and put option, right? We kind of talked about them, but today I want to go into just a little bit more information to help you guys remember and explain to you what what a call option is, what a put option is. All right, so one thing to remember is, so what is a call option? Okay, so a quick way to remember, and the same thing, this is also something we learned from Chris Hansen, pick up a call. So when you get a call, you pick up a call, meaning that's when you want, so that's when you want a stock price to go up. That's when you want to buy a call option. Okay, so you pick up a call. Now, I'm going to go into detail. I'm going to use very, very simple layman terms, and you guys it will be very, very relatable, because we're going to use pizza as an example. Okay, so let's say today you guys want to eat pizza. You want a whole pizza, all right? And let's say for this example, it costs $10 to buy a pizza. Okay, and you're thinking about it, you want to go buy a pizza to eat. Now, there's a coupon, okay? A coupon says you can buy pepperoni pizza for just $7, okay? And this coupon is good until, just like any other coupon, as an expiration date. So August 17, 2018. Okay. Now, so call option is essentially a piece of paper. So I'll very, very simply, just remember an option, think of it as a piece of paper, okay? And let's say I have this coupon and I want to sell it to, I'm going to say Dorothy, okay? Dorothy, if I sell you this coupon I have, okay? And I want to sell it to you for $2, would you buy it?
Yes.
You would, okay. So the math is pretty simple. She paid me $2 and she has this coupon now, I give it to her. And now she can spend $7 and she can buy pizza. So total she spent $9, right? Instead of 10, right? Now how about I make it a little bit, crazy, wild. I say I sell it to you for $5. Would you buy this coupon?
No.
You wouldn't. It doesn't make sense. You spend $5 buying a coupon. You still need to spend $7 to buy a pizza. You end up spending 12, right? You can just buy a pizza for 10. Why would you spend 12? Okay? So now, I'm going to give you one crazy scenario. So let's say today on NPR and you hear, all right, so they found a cure for cancer. It is pepperoni, okay? And pizza, right? And pepperoni is limited. We're running out of pigs, so. Right? Pizza price, right away, next day, boom. All right, each pepperoni pizza is now going to cost you $100. Okay? All right, so Dorothy, let me ask you, would you, if I want to sell, I still have this coupon. It's still good until August 17th. I want to sell you this coupon for $5. Would you buy it?
Yes.
You would,
Yeah.
right? You spend $12,
I'll
and
say
guess
that
what?
for
You
more.
can get a pizza for, now, what if I sell it to you for $50? Would you buy it?
Yeah.
You would still buy it. Or if I sell it to you for $90, would you still buy it?
Yes.
So remember, call option is this piece of paper, and really all I'm doing, or all you're buying and selling, you're trading this piece of paper. And this piece of paper, the value of it goes up based on the price of the pizza. Okay? I'm going to go one step further. So on the flip side, let's say NPR comes out and says, sorry, I made a mistake. Pepperoni and pizza causes cancer. And we found all the pigs. Okay? So we got pizza price is now $5. Okay? Let's say I still have this coupon. You didn't buy it. Okay? Let's say I still have this coupon. $7. Anyone? I sell it to you for $1. Would anyone buy it? I sell it to you for 50 cents. Would anyone buy it? You wouldn't?
Well, what if there's another newscast that says, oh, we made a mistake again?
Oh, very potentially. It could happen. It could happen, right? But just based on what you know now.
August 16, will you buy it? No.
Yeah. So based on what you know now, you probably would not, but you're right. You could still buy it in anticipation of pizza price going up again, right? So you could buy it. If I sell it to you like, Curtis, I'm going to give it to you like for a penny. You might say, okay, I'm just going to buy it. Just so I hold on to it in case it goes back up to $50, $100 a pizza, right?
Yeah.
It's possible. So all of this, what we've been talking about is a call option. Pizza is the stock. I've been saying this coupon is the call option. It's the actual call option that you've been trading. The $7 is what we call an option. It's the strike price. And there's an expiration date. Just like all the coupons, all the pieces of paper, there's an expiration date. So hopefully that helps you just kind of have a basic understanding of what a call option is. You are really just trading this piece of paper. You're buying and you're selling this piece of paper. That's it.
Do you determine the strike price, or does the strike price change every day?
You can choose.
Oh,
You can choose. There's different strike prices that you can choose.
every single day?
So like you open a newspaper coupon, right?
Uh-huh.
There's all these different kind of coupons that you can
Right.
choose. Same thing. You can choose different strike prices.
Oh.
And it might cost, some might cost $2, some might cost $3.
How do you know that you want it at 7?
So there's different ways that you can help you decide like which strike price.
Okay.
Okay, but this is just like an overview. I can share with you. I think at the end, if we have some time, we'll go over like Q&A, and then we can share with you what we use to help us decide the best strike price.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
There's several things that we look at, right? And then you also have to kind of decide how much do I think this pizza is going to go up. Chances are it's not going to go from $10 to $100. This is really just to show you guys the relationship between stock price and option price.
Is
Okay?
it only the seller that gets to decide the strike price, because the buyer only gets to choose what's out there?
Both seller and buyer, you can choose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both seller and buyer. And then what you will be looking at is something called option chain. You'll look at a table with different strike prices and different information for each one.
And Kevin, you're not selling directly to the buyer, you're selling to.
You're selling to the broker.
The broker, yes.
It is, there's always, it's not me selling to Dorothy, it is me selling to, there is a middle person that's buying from me and is selling to Dorothy, but, yeah.
Yeah, what's important, you have to understand that, let's say you want to sell for $6, right? The middleman will have a cut, right? So they might buy it for $5.50.
Yeah.
So there's always a difference between how much you want to sell and price and actual selling price.
So there'll be a commission fee element in addition to this too?
Most broker will charge a little bit of a commission,
And that's how they make money.
unless you're on problem.
There's a limited amount of, like, stocks you can trade every day, right?
For option, I don't think there is, it's not part of the day trading, but stock is buying and selling on.
The same
on-
stock.
The same stock, yes.
Oh.
But you can buy as many stock as you want,
Yes.
different stocks.
Oh.
But if you sell the same one and buy the same ones every day, like I think 5 times within, 3 days
Three
period?
times within 5 days, yes,
Yeah,
5
something
trading
like
days.
Question, Kevin, do we have to use the coupon by that expiration date?
Got it. So, oh, you're right. Very good. Very good. Thank you. So that coupon, when let's say in the previous example, coupon it's August 18th. Coupon is worthless. That's it. So you can't use this coupon anymore. It's worthless at that point. So it's the same thing in
Also,
options.
your money just becomes zero.
Your money, like the money that you.
This is just, it becomes zero, like in your account?
No,
No,
Because I thought you said
no,
it's
so
worthless.
No.
like I bought a coupon, right? I bought a coupon for
you
seven.
just can't use
Use
this
it.
coupon.
Oh,
That's it.
Yeah, but let's say if I took the coupon and I got it for $7, right now pizza's 50, for example. And I have the coupon and today's August 17th. So I'm gonna exercise, because I got a coupon maybe like $10. So now pizza's 50, right? So I'm gonna exercise, I'm gonna buy a bunch of pizza that my coupon allowed me to buy, and I'll keep it, I'll sell it to somebody else. Right?
Or you can just sell the coupon to someone else that wants to do it.
Mhm.
Instead of owning the 50 pizzas, just
Yeah.
sell the coupon to
Oh.
So
someone
you have
else.
the right to
So
exercise.
remember, you have the options, no pun intended, you have the options, but really it is
Oh, that's
meaningful
why
is
it's
to
an
trade,
option.
it's to trade this piece
Oh,
of
now I
paper.
understand it.
Yeah.
You have the right to
You have
buy,
the right.
but no obligation.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, okay.
Now the flip side, that's a different analogy, pizza will not work in this analogy, so to help you guys remember, you put down the phone. So you pick up a call, you put down the phone, okay? Put option means we want the stock price to go down. So the analogy I'm gonna use is this beautiful house, okay? So you own this beautiful house and it costs $1 million, okay? You would probably, where you buy homeowner insurance, right? Okay? So homeowner insurance. Let's just say you pay $500 a month for your insurance, right? You want to make sure your house is protected. Now, every time you pay home insurance, is this something that you just pay one time and you never have to pay for it again?
Yearly.
Once a year.
Once a year. Okay, so let's just say, I'm going to say in this case, once a year finishes, September 21st, third Friday. Okay, just like the last one, it's the third Friday. It's always going to be the third Friday. So let's say I have this insurance. It's good. I'm protected. Now, something bad happened. Okay, same house, fire. Okay, fire burned down half of the house, literally just half. Okay, now, again, the put option, we're really just trading this piece of paper. Okay, I know it doesn't work in real life. You can't just sell someone your homeowner insurance. But I'm going to say, for this example, just remember, I'm just trading this piece of paper. This is my put option. I own it because I paid for it. Okay, I have this. Now, I pay $500 a month. Okay, let's just say I paid $500. Okay, now my house, half of it burned down. This piece of paper is now worth a lot more because my house, it went from $1 million to $500,000. So just because I have this piece of paper is now worth, insurance company will help me build back my entire house, the half of my house that was burned down. This piece of paper is now technically worth $500,000. I pay $500 for it, but because they have to build back my house the way it was, it's worth a lot more. So one step further. let's say, same house, the whole thing burned down, okay? And I threw in a wrecking ball, it's gone, okay? This piece of paper, you went from $1 million, you have $0 now, okay? This piece of paper is now worth even more. It's worth $1 million because you have this piece of paper. They have to spend $1 million and build your house back to the way it was. So that's a put option. Now, same thing, house, that's the stock. We talked about this is your put option. We're just trading this piece of paper. Something that's a little bit new, but just like insurance, what you've been paying, that is your premium. That is what I'm paying. Okay? There's an expiration date, and all you're doing, you're just hoping the house burns down. Not literally, but you're hoping the stock price go from, let's say Apple. If I have put option on Apple, I'm hoping Apple goes from $180 to $2. The lower it gets, the more money my put option is worth. Okay.
What about if it's expired?
If it, same thing. If it expired, then it's worthless. Okay, you can't trade it anymore, of course.
So there's strike price for this?
There's also strike price. You can also determine what you want for the strike price. So, meaning I can say, I didn't list it here, but basically I can say I want Apple to go down from 180 to 160. So you can pick the different strike price on your option chain.
So once it hits the strike price, you have the option to sell. I mean, to get rid of that piece of paper.
If it hits the strike price, you are actually
Obligated to
Yes.
Obligated to
sell.
Yes.
You have to sell.
Okay. So we will save some questions till the end because I know Han has a lot to cover. So if you guys have any question, but this is just, remember, it's a basic analogy to help you guys remember or to understand what options are.
And this is how people make money when the market crashes. They buy insurance. So if say you have about $1 million invested into Apple, right? When you see the charts, the indicators pointing down, and there's a bunch of fear in the market, you buy insurance. When Apple falls, say it falls from 200 to 100, then you have the ability to exercise that option, and then you can pocket a $100 difference per share. And that's how you make money for the market going up and the market going down. Okay, so in our last session, we talked about, okay, how do I know when to buy, sell, or hold, right? I mean, all the stuff that we're talking about is really it's really nice. But then there are things to consider. So in the stock market, there are things called seasonality. See, just like seasons. What happens during the winter? Anybody? What happens during winter? It's cold, right? And during summer, it's hot. So what are the chances there are more people going to the beach during the winter or the summer? Where do you think it's going to be higher? So same concept, right? So these are pretty much all the major indexes and all the sectors, and these are the different categories where the dates tells you when it's hot. So which means, say for example, the S&P 500, right? It picks up in late October and it tapers off in May. So what that means is that, ideally if you're looking to buy a position, it's good to start looking somewhere starting in October, and you want to sell a position, you want to sell it before, May or end of May, because a lot of times you hear this phrase called, buy in May or sell in May and go away, right? Whenever the market is going down. So here's an example. This is the S&P 500, the monthly return from 1964 to 2017. Okay, so all these data is up to last year. So if you look at these, right? So let's see if that's true, okay? So let's look at October. So starting at October, you have a 1% gain. November, it picks up a little bit more in December, okay? And then you look at January, February, March, April, May. So consistently, you see, greens during those times. But then from May, June, July, August, September, you notice how the return is not that great, and especially August and actually September is considered one of the worst months in history to invest. So that's something to consider. It doesn't mean that it's gonna happen, but those who fail to learn from history is doomed to repeat it, okay? So it's just that when you buy stocks in September, be mindful that you're buying stocks during one of the worst months in the market history. So you might want to be cautious, you know, just during that time, just take some time off and just watch. That's it.
Could there be a correlation in December because of the holidays, or maybe even March, April because of taxes or something?
Very good. So that's a very good observation. Yes, because during these times, what happened? People are more willing to spend because October, you got Halloween, you got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas. So people are more generous. People are more willing to spend. So that's the reason why a lot of time the companies tend to do really well during those times. And then after the new year, you know, it's over. People started saving money, and then during the summertime, it's like, there's really not much going on. So very good observation. So understand how the market and the economic cycles work, because the more information you have, the better the decision making you make. And then another thing to consider is the earnings calendars. So the season is one thing, but at the same time, earnings. Before you're buying a stock, make sure you know the earnings calendar, because the worst thing you want to do is you buy a stock today, and then tomorrow it announces earnings and it tanks because, you know, it fails to meet Wall Street expectations. So whenever you buy a stock for a long-term investing, very important, learn the earnings calendar. Especially if you're trading options, earnings will kick your ass. Literally, your trade can go to zero overnight because, you know, you buy something without doing your due diligence, and suddenly tomorrow, oh yeah, we didn't sell a lot of, that much iPhones last cycles, but you know, the economy's slowing down. So
Can we use, I'm confused on this one. Can you use McDonald's as an example here, like for the earnings?
yeah, so okay, let's use Apple. I like Apple.
Okay.
Okay. So this is back in January 29, right? So this is of this year. So Apple is going to announce their earnings on Thursday after the market closed. Okay, and then suddenly on Thursday you see like a bunch of people buying Apples. Like, oh yeah, you know, Apple's, you know, sold a bunch of iPhone 10s. You're gonna make money. You're gonna have new stuff, new products, right? So everyone's hyping it up. And yes, there's a bunch of data and facts that say Apple's gonna do well. But then, okay, so you went out and buy 100 shares of Apple. Boom, you know, you pop in like 20 grand or 18 grand, whatever the price of Apple is, okay? And then 1 p.m., which is 4 p.m. Eastern time, right? So, you know, Apple comes out, announces their earnings. Yeah, this quarter we sold a bunch of iPhones. We're gonna do great. But next quarter, trade tariffs, is that gonna look good? We're not gonna sell a lot of iPhones. Look, and then what happened? It tanks. So even though it beats the top line and bottom line, you know, profits and revenues, but the guidance is not great. So a lot of times, what I've learned in the past is, I used to do this, but I didn't understand about guidance. So guidance is very important, because you can beat top and bottom line, you can do really well, but if your guidance is not great, your stock is going to tank, because Wall Street is going to expect it's not going to make as much money as next quarter. So that's how you can get really pummeled in the stock market. Inversely, you know, it can have some great news and say, hey, next year we're going to double our iPhone sales or whatever, and then Apple will go up. But then a lot of times what I've learned is that you tend to lose more buying before earnings, because you don't know what guidance is. You know, you can do your research and do your due diligence, and you can find how much money they made and how many iPhones they sell, but you can't predict the guidance. You just don't. So that's the wild card. So there's a lot more risk buying and holding stocks and options, especially going into earnings. So very important. So if any, make sure you do your due diligence before you get into any position. All right. All right. So Dorothy brought up a good question last time, right? You know, how do you decide when to buy, sell, or hold? And yeah, I have a bunch of money saved up, but how do I know that if I buy today, tomorrow it's gonna go up or down? The simple answer is you don't. No one does. No one knows what the market's gonna do tomorrow. But there are things that you can do to predict. There's like pattern. This guy's saying, okay, is traffic gonna be greater on Monday morning or is it on a Saturday morning? That's pretty much patterns, right? We know that every Monday people go to work and there's got a bunch of traffic on the 60th, but if 8 a.m. on Saturday, there might be not as much traffic. I mean, there could be car accidents, right? You don't know. But chances are you're gonna be stuck in traffic on Saturdays is less than you would have on Monday. And pretty much that's what the stock market is there are certain things that you can do to improve your chances or your odds of success. And this is what I call the technical indicators. Okay? So technical indicators consist, I use 5 things, which is the Bollinger Bands, moving averages. I won't go into details about this because it's a lot of stuff, and you want to learn about all these terms, go ahead and Google them because it's a huge resource. So I'll just show how to use it. And if you want to get into all the technical gritty details and how the calculation works, Wikipedia is a great resource for that. Right? So Bollinger Bands, moving averages, MACD, I love MACD. This is your signal indicator. So another thing, MACD is the best signal that you can use. And then stochastic RSIs and candlesticks. So let me go briefly into a few of these. So candlesticks, let's start with candlesticks. So with candlesticks, there are 2 things that I use or that I observe, which are the 2 patterns, which is the hammer patterns and the shooting star patterns. These are the 2 patterns that tells you when a reversal is about to happen. Is it guaranteed? No, nothing is guaranteed except death and taxes. Okay? So we have, pretty much it tells you when you see a hammer form like this, and then you see another green or 2 green candles afterwards, chances there is that it's found at bottom and is likely to rise up. So the hammer is interpreted that is when a security has fallen and possibly hitting a bottom. So this is the sellers, okay? So the seller loses steam, and then the buyer comes in and they bring their stock back up. And inverse of a hammer is a shooting star. So a shooting star is when the stock has been going up to a certain point, the seller's gonna kick in, people are gonna sell for profit, and it's gonna fall back down. So these are 2 indicators that it's good to learn and know. Oh, great. So here's the example. So I talked about, let's see here, let's go back. So I talked about Bollinger Bands and moving averages, MACDs, and stochastic RSIs, okay? So we're gonna see how all those other stuff play, as well as candlesticks play in our example. So I used Apple as an example because I love trading apples. And I got this chart on Monday night when I was doing the presentation. So this is the chart that I made on Monday night. So let's look at, I'm going to show you, so this is the Bollinger Band. The Bollinger Band is kind of like a trench where 80% of the time the stock will trade within that band. You notice that how every time it goes up to a band, it falls back down, and every time it falls outside the band, it goes back in. So it always tends to snap back in, and that's how the stock market works.
The band is a green line.
Yes. So yeah, this is the top of the band, and that's the bottom of the band, and this is the middle of the band.
Okay.
Right? So whenever it hits the top of the band, chances are it's most likely there's a high percent chance that it's going to bounce, go back into the band, and then sometimes it might, trade sideways for a while, or in the extreme case, it might fall all the way down where what happened in February. Who remembers what happened in February of this year? The market crashed 1,700 points at one point, right? Because of inflation fears. But look what happened now. It's like, I mean, the stuff they were worried about 3 months ago or 4 months ago, now it's normal. It's like, it's all fear and panic. So this is signaling right here. I can see him right here. He comes in here, he sees opportunity, and he scoops it up, and then look what happens. It comes back up. So a lot of times, you use indicators to improve your chance of success. So you don't blindly buy when it's here. You're like, oh yeah, stuff is on sale. But if you look at the band, it's like, no, it's not on sale yet. This is on sale, right? So that's why when you want to buy anything, you want to buy when it's outside of the band. So that's a Bollinger Band. Candlesticks. So who can tell me if they can find a hammer on this chart? Find a hammer on this chart. February 12th. Very good. You see this? That's what the market, I believe, February 8th to be exact. Because it looks like it's 12, but it's actually right here. So from February 8th is when the market tanked really hard. That's when it tanked 1,700 points. And look at Apple. It went down to 150. 150. Gee.
Does that hammer show up like early in the morning, first thing?
No,
What does that hammer come out?
no.
It's a hammer, because I go back some more.
I was like, how do I know like that light's gonna go all the way down, hammer's gonna
The
come
thing
out?
is, you will not see the hammer until the close of the trading day.
Right?
Yeah, which is you only see it that night when you do your homework. When you do your homework, you do your
Or that
no,
night?
that night. That night up. So for example, February 8th after 1 p.m. If you pull up if you go to startcharts.com and you draw this chart, you'll see the hammer there.
Right.
And if you go to any
But
other.
that's too late already.
No.
No.
Pretty close.
So the idea is that, let's say Apple will cover 10%.
Right.
Your goal is not to get a 10%. Your goal maybe get like 5 or 6% in between.
Also, like the day before.
No, you
No,
can
like
never
the
catch
after,
the
the
whole
after.
wave.
The day after.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so.
okay, I get what you're saying, before it goes up again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So the goal of this is you never want to catch a falling knife, okay?
Oh.
It hurts.
Okay, okay.
What you want to do is you want to wait till the knife hits the ground,
Right.
Milan picks it up, and then you take it from Milan. That's the goal.
Okay, got it.
See, that's the goal. So yes, it's falling. You don't want to. This is a falling knife. You don't want to pick it up.
drop again.
So just understand that you will never be able to buy at the bottom and sell at the top. And if you do, you're just lucky. Just accept that fact. You can never do it. But then you're guaranteed to always be able to get a chunk in the middle, and that's what you want. That's all you want. You want a chunk in the middle. Don't try to scoop the bottom, and don't try to sell at the top. It's just too much work. It's too much risk.
So buy around like 160.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Look at the chart. Look at the chart.
Look at the chart.
Not the price.
So you see this chart, right? At 150, and it goes up all the way to 182.
Right.
So you can buy at 170, you know, and you still make a dollar. Even 160.
Right.
You can buy 160 and sell at 170, and you still make $10.
Mm.
So that's how you do it. The next thing is, this is the stochastics, all right? So a lot of times, the stochastic RSI measures when the stock is overbought and oversold. So 80 is when anything is over 80, it's overbought, and anything that's below 20 is oversold. So another indicator you want to look at, yes, okay, I see the hammer, it's falling out of the band, but what else can I use? So you look at the stochastics, and right now it's below the 20 line. Okay, so that's another indicator that you can use to your advantage. And at the same time, remember what I tell you about MACD? I love MACD. MACD should be the signal that this is the confirmation where the stock has fallen and it's starting to rise. So ideally, what you want to do is you want to see the MACD hit reverses. Okay, so don't get in as it's falling. See, get in after it the cross. This is the signal. So around this time, the signal crosses and it starts to go back up.
So the question talking about is the black and blue, black and red.
Usually it's green or red.
Green and red.
Yeah.
It's when it crosses.
You can set it up however you want,
Yeah.
but it's when they cross.
Or where those two lines.
The red is usually the signal line.
And this is the histogram. You notice how this is the zero, and then when the stock is falling, it's below zero, and when the stock is rising, it's above zero. So that's your MACD histogram as well. Right? So what you want to do is you want to use multiple indicators that tells you it's a buy signal. So if you look at the MACD, all right, I see it's going up, and stochastic RSI is in an oversold condition, so a lot of people are selling. So and then at the same time, you notice how you see the hammer form. So naturally, on the next day, you watch it, it goes up, and then that's a signal for you to get in. So you can get in even on the third day. You know what? Okay, I'll wait for the first day after the market tanked, and then wait the second day for a confirmation, and then I follow through. Is this guaranteed all the time? No. But as I said, you learn patterns.
Question. So, for the bar chart, right? So, what is the deviation represents?
So I'll get into those details later because I'll show you the numbers on what we use, all right? And so Apple. This is 2 days later. So let's look at Apple. This is what happened on Monday. Can anyone predict what's going to happen here? This is on Monday after it hits the bottom of the band. So historically, what do you think will happen? It will go up right from what we learned. So it's going to hit the band. Chances are it's gonna rise, right? So look what happened to Apple. Monday, boom, it goes up, and then today it goes up some more. So the question is, how do we know that it works? We don't. We can only guess what's gonna happen. I mean, could Apple tank another 2-3 days? Yeah,
Because
possibly.
it hasn't crossed over there at the MACD.
Yeah, see? So here you see the stochastic is in oversold condition, but MACD hasn't crossed yet.
Right.
So yeah, yes. Can you get in? You could, but chances are you might, you want to increase your odds, right? So wait until MACD gives you the signal, then it gives you confirmations and give you confidence to get in. In the past, I had no idea that all these are possible. I just I buy an emotion. I think it's on sale, I buy, and then I don't know why the market goes up or down. It's just all based on luck. But now, having armed myself with all these different technical indicators, you can actually improve your odds of success by just learning how these different indicators work and try it. Don't believe what I'm saying. Prove it to yourself that it works. Do it on paper for a year, because seasons, right? When you trade during the summer, it's different from trading during the winter time. Because during the winter time, its chances of success is greater because the market is going up. So ideally, you want to trade with the trend. If the market's going up, trade it up. If the market's going down, trade it down. You don't want to swim against the current. It's very difficult. You burn out. Okay? So the question about the standard deviation. So this is what I use to make the charts. So this is on stockcharts.com. So these are the parameters that I use. So when you ask about the standard deviations, it uses the 2 standard deviations for the Bollinger Band. Okay? So that's where it captures about what 95% of the price movement. So 95% the stock will go trade inside that band.
21 is the 21-day moving average, and then plus or minus 2 standard deviation.
Oh.
For the Bollinger Band.
So that's why you see in the middle 21 and 2.
Yeah. But don't worry about all these technicals. Just understand this and use it. Just learn how to use the tool. Like if I give you a computer, don't worry where it's made from. Don't worry like what kind of parts are inside. Just learn how to use the computer. So same concept. I mean, yes, what you have a lot of times, you can feel free to dig in and learn how simple, how the stochastics work and all the formulas and all the Bollinger Bands. But that's just wastes a lot of your time. At first, just focus on learning how the indicators work and practice it. Practice it. That's it. In order to learn, you really have to learn how to use it to your advantage. Okay, so that's pretty much the indicators. The next thing is, I know we have about 5 minutes left. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the income cycle. So if you need to leave at 1, feel free to leave. I don't think there's another meeting after this, but we're going to go over by about 5-10 minutes. So if you want to stay, feel free to stay. But you got to leave, just got to leave. So this is the best part because I love.
I'm gonna say the best for last. Hello.
Right? So this is the best part because this is how you make money, okay? And I call this the income cycle. Okay. So Kevin explained it where he was showing you how to buy call options, right? But what we've learned is that you can actually make more money selling options because imagine if you don't. Everyone here buys insurance, right? And we all pay money to insurance companies, but it wouldn't be better if you're the insurance company, you're the one selling the insurance? So same concept. So right now we're the seller in this case, okay? And here, so pretty much this is my my cash secure puts strategy. So pretty much what I do is I have $10,000. I want to own, I want to buy 100 shares of Microsoft. But instead of buying the stock straight out, I use options to initiate my position. So I use cash secured put, which I taught last time, as well as cover call to make money. So let's walk through this cycle. So first, you sell a cash secured put, right, to profit, to make some money, and then if it gets exercised, you own the stock. And then once you own the stock, you sell a cover calls, and if the cover call gets exercised, then you sell the stock and then you use the cash to repeat the process. So let's look at an example with Microsoft. So I believe today Microsoft is currently trading about $99. So all these examples I'm using is pretty correct. So right now Microsoft is trading at $99. And I want to sell a Microsoft June next month's put for a 9-to-5 put for $1.50. So what that means is that I get paid $150 okay, in my pocket right now for selling a July 20th 95 put. So what it means is that I want to buy Microsoft at $95. So if Microsoft by July 20th, or actually the end of day on July 20th, if Microsoft is above 95, then I get to pocket $150, and the option expires worthless.
Meaning the house didn't burn down.
Correct, the house didn't burn down. So that's what I'm doing. I get paid for trying. So it's kind of like, yes, I can set a limit to buy Microsoft at $95 and wait till it executes, or I can sell a put and pocket $100.50 right now for trying to buy Microsoft at $95. So say what happens if Microsoft closes at 94.99 on that day. I get exercise. Now I get own 100 shares of Microsoft at $95. So I have to cough up, make sure I have $9,500 to buy 100 shares of Microsoft. All right. So in this example, this example, the stock price closed at 94. So now, even though the stock price is 94, I have to pay $95 because why? I get paid $150 premium for the option. So technically, I still make $50 if you think about it. I can sell the stock on the market right now at $94, close out my positions, and still make $50, right? So, and then now once you own the stock, okay, now this time to sell a cover calls. So now when I sell a cover call for in August, so say we're in July, and now I'm going to sell the next month's cover call for $100. So even though the stock price is $94 right now, I want to sell it at $100. So again, I get paid $150 for trying to sell it at $100. So two things will happen. If the stock is at, it closes below 100 by that day, by August 18th, for example, the stock expires worthless. But if it closes above the 100, say the stock price is at 101. So now I own 100 shares of and now I'm forced to sell my 100 shares of Microsoft at $100. And guess what? I pocket $500 because I bought them at 95 and I sell them at 100. So pretty much now you pocket $500. So looking at this cycle, right? I mean, yes, technically I can go and buy stock at 99, and within 2 months it goes up to 101. So that's a $2 difference. So I can make $200. Or if I use options to my advantage, I can make potentially $800. And it's just how you learn how. It's like what you use with option to your advantage. So you can still make a lot of money by just buying the stock outright and just selling it. Nothing wrong with that. But with options, it just gives you more opportunities to make money, or lose too if you don't want to. So in this example, see, once you sell the stock, now you're going back to cash, and then you use the cash to initiate another position. So just you do it over and over and over again.
So what happens if the price reaches before the expiration date?
Very good question. So what I like to do is I have a strategy called a 20-10 strategy. So very good question to lead me into this example, August.
Good time.
I was going to ask a question before that.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I never want to let my options get exercised. I want to close out before it's done. So what is the 20-10 rule? The 20-10 rule states that if I sell an option at $1 today for 30 days, right? What I'm going to do is, if I know that within the first half of the option cycle, oh, that's just the bell closing.
Welcome.
So what it means is that, say I sell an option for 30 days. Within 15 days, if I already booked 80% of the profit, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to buy it back. See, because if I sell something for $1, I'm going to buy it back at 20 cents. 20 cents, because within 15 days, I already made 80% of the profit. There's no point for me to try to capture another 20 cents. So that tells me I'm done too. So another 5 for 10 minutes, and then we'll be done here. So if you can stay, great. If not, no worries. Okay, so that's my strategy. I always want to close out and take profits. So what it does, it takes risk out of the table. So what it means is that when I sell something for $1, when I hit my 80% goal, I buy it back, and then now I wait for another opportunities. But if that doesn't happen, all right, so the second rule is the 10% rule, which means within the second half of the option, or within the remaining 15 days, if I can capture 90% of the profit, I'm going to buy it back. So if I sell something at $1, I'm going to buy it back at 10 cents. So which means that you pocket $90. See that? So I never want to wait until the options expires worthless, because sometimes the stock can move against you and you might end up losing some of your profits. What this does, it also allows you to get a double hitter. So which means that if I sell something for $1, and then either the market tanks hard, or if I'm selling a call, or if the market rallies really fast or high if I'm selling a put, then what I can potentially do is, so this option will pretty much fall really fast because of the rising prices. And then, say within 2 days, I already booked 80% of my profit. I'm gonna buy back the option at 20 cents. And then as the stock falls or goes back up, I'm gonna sell it again. So say I sell a dollar in 30 days. Within 5 days, I book 80% of the profit, and I still have 25 days left in the trading cycle. So I wait a little bit, and I see now I see the stock, has tapered off. I can sell the same option for maybe 70 cents, 80 cents, or whatever the strike price is. So you can potentially make additional money from it. So the goal is you want to have an exit strategy for when you're selling your options. And again, I don't like to hold my option into expiration because there's just a lot of risk. I just want to buy it back and lock in my profit. And that's pretty much how we trade the option cycles. And that's how you make your monthly income. So whatever your strategy is, it's good to learn. I would not recommend doing this unless you know what calls and puts are and you've done it for a long time, because this strategy requires you to be very disciplined and you need to know what you're doing. If you don't, because if you know which strike price you choose, which expiration date you choose, you can be in a lot of pain. So it looks lucrative and it looks easy, but very hard to do. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is your financial futures. So a lot of times, where you are today in 5 years, where you are in 5 years will depend a lot on what you do today, right? So the question is like, what are you doing today to improve your financial futures? Whether, get promotions, acquire new skills, or, just learn how to invest or learn how different ways to have money work for you. And a lot of times if you keep on doing what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten, right? So if you don't do anything today, nothing's going to change in 5 years. You can say that if, for example, today, like Anthony, if you can't say that you want to become a security analyst if you just keep on watching Netflix and just playing basketball. It's not going to help. Yeah, you're
Speaking to you specifically, Anthony?
It's last week, so pretty much it's all about how passionate you are to improve your financial futures. And a lot of times it takes practice, it takes disciplines. And a lot of times, so all the stuff that I'm giving you is just information, okay? And you have two choices. Either you can go back and do what you do, or you can take this information and turn that into knowledge. And then, with knowledge, it also requires experience, because without experience, you won't get wisdom. So you need to be able to practice. So it's kind of like, say, I use basketball example. You don't get good at basketball by watching other people play. You actually have to dribble the ball and shoot some hoops, and you don't do it once, you do it like hours. I mean, Carlos, he can attest to it, right? I mean, it's not easy throwing three-pointers. You have to shoot like thousands of those to really be really adept, and that's not even good. So it takes practice, patience, and a lot of time. So I'm not sure. I have a bonus section, so it's going to take about 7 minutes. You want to watch it?
Bonus section!
Bonus!
Hey!
Right?
So why are we eating pizza the first 10 minutes?
This is pretty much a YouTube.
That was an extra bonus.
So let's see if we got this here.
If you only have 24 hours in a day, your success is dependent upon how you use the 24. You gotta hear me. People talk about Oprah Winfrey, Ted Turner, Warren Buffett. Listen to me. I don't care how much money you make. You only get 24 hours in a day. And the difference between Oprah and the person that's broke is Oprah uses her 24 hours wisely. That's it. Listen to me. That's it. You get 24. I don't care if you broke, you grew up broke. I don't care if you grew up rich. I don't care if you're in college, you're not in college. You only get 24 hours. And I blew up literally. I went from being a high school dropout to selling 6,000 books in less than 6 months. What happened? My 24 hours. I was like, okay, Eric, you got to get a grip on your 24 hours because you're about to be broke for the rest of your life. And that's all I need you to do for me. I can tell you all about your life if you just write down your 24-hour schedule for me and you let me look at it. I can tell you where you're going to be in 5 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 10 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 20 years if you keep that schedule.
What's the most important key to success? I think it's hunger. It's not getting satisfied. A hunger that doesn't go, a hunger to learn, a hunger to grow, a hunger to serve, a hunger to give, a hunger to create breakthroughs. Most people are hungry till they make a certain amount of money and then they get comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not about the money. It's not about the business. It's about your growth. Because every one of us either grows or dies. People ask me all the time, what does it take to be happy? I say one word, progress. Progress equals happiness, because achieving a goal feels good for how long? A week, a month, 3 months, and then there needs to be something else. And the reason for something else is because you gotta grow.
Work on yourself. Work on your focus. You cannot stop. You gotta work. The problem with you is you see difficult as something negative. I want you to see difficult differently. Are you hearing me? I need you to push through that stuff. Push through it. You can't get through it. The more you go through, the more difficult it is, the more challenging it is. Listen to me, the harder it is. Are you hearing me? The more challenging it is. All you're doing, baby, is building muscles. In life, you're either going to a storm, in a storm, or you coming out. It's a part of life. There's no way around it. So just be careful not to allow the trials and the tribulations to consume you. I don't care if you're a billionaire. I don't care if you're a CEO of one of the most important companies. I don't care if you're an entertainer. Like, I don't care who you are. You can go to the moon. We all have problems. What I'm trying to tell you is this, though. Problems are a part of life. But guess what? They're not life.
It's not going to be easy. There are moments when you're going to doubt yourself. There are rough times are going to come, but they have not come to stay. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, you've got to make it your personal business to make it happen.
See if you can find some ways to multiply your value to the marketplace. And he said your income will immediately start to change.
See, if you go through life holding back, and most of us do, most of us, if we ask ourselves, have we done all we can do? Most of us will have to answer, no, we haven't. We've been holding back. We have ideas that we don't act on, things we want to do. We're afraid to take chances. We go through life trying to seek security and not coming outside of our comfort zone, and we take most of our stuff with us to the grave.
Up until then, I was hoping that the economy would change. I was hoping that my company would change. I was hoping that my paycheck would change. I was hoping that circumstances outside would change. And then here's what I found out. It isn't going to change. So then my question was, if it isn't going to change, how will my life ever change? And here's what my teacher taught me. When you change, everything will change for you.
And I'm saying that the fact that you're still here, that you're still breathing, you've got some more work. And you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself. So when you get up in the morning, that you can look yourself in the face and say, hey, I'm living my life on my terms.
As you look at yourself as a business operator, as you look at yourself as an entrepreneur, as you look at yourself as a person that want to make a mark with your life, that want to leave a legacy, you've got to be hungry. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. You want to find people who master that, because success leaves clues. And that's the same thing I'm suggesting to you. Whatever area that you want to go in it's finances, in business, insurance industry, whatever area that you're interested in, find the people who are mastering that and follow their example. Watch your relationships. They're nourishing relationships and they're toxic relationships. Nourishing relationships, they bring the best out of you. They inspire you. Toxic relationships, they drain you. People that are hungry, are willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. People that are hungry, believe, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. People that are hungry know if you want to be successful, you must be willing to do the things today others won't do in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. Complain, point at your circumstances, give up your power, blame the government, blame the economy. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. It's hard to make a radical change in your behavior. It's hard to take ownership. It's hard to swallow the bitter pill that wherever you find yourself, at some point in time, you made an appointment to be there. That's hard. It's hard. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is hard, your life will be easy.
Cool. Thank you, everyone.
Is there an extra bonus section then?
Wait, so how do we determine the strike price? Huh? It's important.
So, what the strike price is, there's a list of option chains that you can choose from. And then, well, we can talk in that in detail because there's a lot of methods.
Yeah, because you said like the expiration date is like in a month, right? So how do you know you buy up or down?
One thing you can do is you can look at strike price, you can look at current price, look at your strike price list, and look at Bollinger Band. It's like, oh, you know what? Right now the price is at what, like say $10. The Bollinger Band is like 15. Then you know that when I hit the Bollinger Bands, most likely it might drop. So you say, you know what? I should put a strike price somewhere between the current price and the Bollinger Band. Right?
Okay.
So this way you might go up.
So in his example, right? Say for example, Apple. So you have the moving average, which is the 50-day right here, at 182.9. So what you want to do is you want to choose a strike price. Say you want to initiate a put, you want to sell a put.
Right.
Okay.
Put it to
So
go down.
Yes.
yeah, but then you want to buy the stock at a really good price.
Right.
And then you notice that if it gets towards like near below 183, chances are it's likely that it's going to bounce. So you can choose a strike price of either 182, 181, or 180 because you want to leave yourself some room for errors.
Okay.
Okay, and that's just buying, that's selling. But if you want to buy a call option, the strike price is a little bit different because there are certain guidelines to buy options. Because you can buy there are different types, which means that there's out of the money, in the money, and at the money option, and that's just another topic to discuss. So
Sounds so complicated.
yes. So option is once you understand it, it's very easy.
So,
but
so when I try to sell a put to go down, right? And then you said when it expires at that expiration date, that's when you have to own the stocks. Is that what you meant?
So when you sell a put, it's actually a bullish position. Bullish to slightly neutral position because when you sell a put, you're going to be obligated to buy the option when you sell a put. You have to.
Oh, you have to.
Yes, you're obligated to buy it.
Oh, no wonder, because when you were doing that cycle, I was like, oh, I didn't understand. Oh, so you have to have the money in order to buy 100 shares of that stock.
Yes,
is that what
right.
you're saying?
No, you have to have the money ready to buy it because when the opportunity comes up, you have to buy it, right? So the idea is that you want to sell a put when you know that, you know what, you don't mind owning that stock at that price.
That's when you sell a put.
Yes. Otherwise, you run to risk
Right.
of having expired, and you have to execute. So you have to buy that many stocks.
No, wait. You said if you don't have to exercise, then you don't need to buy that many. You don't need to buy.
No, so when you
Before the
sell a put,
expiration.
you have to buy.
Oh, you have to buy it.
Yeah. If you're a seller, you're obligated.
Yeah.
That's why you're
Yes.
choosing a price that is good for you in case you have to buy it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
another way you
In
can
case,
do it.
but
So
why
once
is
once it expires,
you
you're
have to buy
forced
it.
to.
Yeah.
But
So-
if it didn't expire and you sell the put, you say you still have to buy it.
No, expired.
If
It's
it
only-
expires,
it's only
we're talking
expired.
about when it
Yeah.
expires.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
so if it didn't expire, you can
then
just sell it.
Yes, but another thing is that you can also buy another put to balance it out. So you sell a put for let's say $10, you buy it back for like 10 10 cents, then now you don't have to do anything. Okay, you sold one, you bought one, then your obligation is over.
Yes, for options, if you sell an option, you have to buy it back to close
Yes.
your positions. You have to, because
Oh.
if you don't, you're
Yes.
gonna be screwing yourself. So if you're selling it, that's why if you're an option seller, you have to buy it back to close up your position because you're obligated to buy.
Yeah, and the idea is that you want to sell it at $10, so you make $10, and you want to buy it back at $1, for example,
Right,
then you
right, of
pocket
course.
$9 in between.
Right.
That's the whole
Yeah,
point.
that's the whole point.
Yeah, but there's sometimes there will be movements where you don't have to wait till last day. It might be 5 days into it, right? Then Apple said, oh, we just did some earnings, and boom, it went up. So you put it now it's worthless.
Yep.
You can buy it back for 1 penny, and I will buy it back and call it a day. Yeah.
Because, for example, right, say you put it at 180, and selling tomorrow the price of Apple rockets to $200. So now it's like, what are the chances that within 30 days Apple is gonna fall back to 180, 200? Pretty low. So that's the reason why the price of that option is cheap. So so instead of waiting for 20, 30 days for it to expire, you buy it back at $1. Pretty much that's it. You close on your positions. That's why I use the 80, the 20, the 10, and 20, the 20-10 rules.
Yeah.
Is you buy it back.
Yeah. Unless you really want to keep the stock at that price. Otherwise, yeah, you don't need to.
Sure. Yeah. So when you're an option seller, you're obligated. If you're the buyer, you have the option, but not the obligation to buy.
Oh.
Okay. So that's the two difference. If you're a buyer, you have that option, but not the obligations. But if you're an option seller, then you're obligated to buy or sell certain stocks depending on what you do. If you sell a put, you're obligated to buy. If you sell a call, you're obligated to sell. Okay? Yes, there's a lot of stuff and it's still confusing, but you have to learn to do it and practice it to really understand how everything works. Because I do a lot of readings and a lot of research, but not until you actually do it, and you do it for like a whole month or two, then you'll see how it works. It's pretty crazy. You notice how your options, you will start to lose money, then you gain money and that expires worthless, then you make your money back. It's kind of weird. It's very weird. When you sell options, you start to lose money at first and you panic, but then as it expires worthless, you start to make money. But
As
then,
it expires, become worthless, why?
because every option has an expiration date.
Right?
Yeah. So it's like a coupon. It's like if you don't exercise this coupon within a certain time frame, it becomes worthless.
Then how do you make money?
You make money by selling it back to other people.
So
But it's already expired.
because there are people who actually want a coupon.
You sell it.
Even after it expires?
Yes.
No, before it
No,
expires.
before
You have to do it before expiration.
Oh.
So that's why it's valued more
Yes.
near the end.
Because
Usually it's
yeah.
higher towards the
When
end.
you're selling options, you're not selling to each other. You're selling to the market maker.
Right,
The
right.
market maker makes all the money. That's what there's a bid and the ask spread. So that's how the market maker makes money from it. So when you sell your option, there's always going to be someone buying. And additionally, there's another thing to take notice when you're selling options or buying options. Make sure the option volume is big because it's more liquid. You don't want to buy or sell an option where there's only 2 people trading it. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
If there's like 1,000 people trading it, then more volume is easier to sell. Because the market maker has to match with a buyer and a seller. And that's how it works. So ideally you want to choose the strike price and option volume where it has high open interest. So see, there's a lot of stuff to learn. So the stuff I covered is only the
The volume
surface.
is in one of these charts indicators or whatever?
No. You have to look at the option chains. So
Huh?
the option chains. So
Option chain?
Option chains, yes. So the stuff that shows you is just a service, but you have to do your due diligence and do some research and read up more about options in order to use it.
So in your experience, are there websites that let you practice these option, sell, buy?
Yes. Actually, there's an app called Thinkorswim. It's free. You can actually use free paper money. They give you $200,000 and you can trade options with
But
that.
you have to open a real account.
It's a real account.
Yeah.
Through TD Ameritrade.
Like you have to put in your social security number and all that stuff.
Yes.
Because I looked at it.
Yeah. And it also has all the fancy charts and
So you have
everything
to
too.
link your bank account and all that.
There's nothing that's absolutely free, you just want to practice.
Yes, it's called paper trading. It's on paper. You go to Yahoo Finance and look at the option chains, and you do it on paper. You write it down on paper manually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what you meant by paper?
Yeah, literally, it's
That's
paper.
how we started.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
so you do it on paper.
Excel?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, what I'm worried is that if I do it on paper, I might interpret it wrong. I might be calling it a call, but I'm actually doing a put. So nothing to validate what I'm doing.
That's why you talk with people that are doing it and you learn from them. I think that's the easiest way. Because for me, is I watch a lot of YouTubes.
YouTube's your friend.
Yeah, YouTube's your friend. Just YouTube it.
And there are people who are live broadcasting their trade
But
at
it's so
6:30.
boring though.
No, making money is not boring.
No, some videos are so boring. Dude, they talk and talk and talk and
See,
it's like, but it's
don't
so
need to work by money in the pocket.
Yeah, it's like, I want to get to the point. Get to the point.
So you know what's perfect for you? You find a financial advisor who will take like 5% of your earnings and they will give you like 10% return. That's all for you. Just say, here's my money, take it. I just want to see some money. They take commissions.
Okay.
You have to.
Yeah, I'll read about it. I think I bought a book. On
But once you're
options.
good at it, you probably look at it once a week.
Yeah.
Not talking about.
No, I think in the
trading options.
beginning we'll probably look at it every day.
Yeah. But I mean, once you're good at it, you do like a couple of trades a week, a month.
Yeah. You notice that as you get better, you will trade less and less. That's a weird thing.
But when you trade less, but one time we go in, you're going hard, you're going a lot of money. So for example, before you trade $100, $1,000 each time, and you have to do like 10, 20 times to get the money that you want. But now you're good at it, so you do one time 10 grand, 50 grand, and you just.
Just take out your wallet. But what happens as you do it more and more, you build up that confidence.
Yes.
It's kind of like, I don't know, when you practice certain things for a long period of time, you notice patterns and your chance of success increases. So like for example, if you see the same pattern over and over and over, chances are it's going to happen again.
Right.
And that's what you're doing in the stock market, is looking at patterns, repeatable patterns.
Right.
You can predict the future.
And so the mindset, right? I say today you hit a buy for $1,000, and tomorrow you might need to hit the buy for $100,000. Do you have the same confidence for $1,000 and $100,000? Does it affect you the same way? You have to be indifferent. So buying one share of Apple versus buying 1,000 share Apple to you should be the same thing. If you cannot deal with that, then you'll run into a problem where it's like, oh crap, like, I'm so terrified, oh my god, my money.
Yeah. It's hard, it's very hard because it's a large amount. But once you get to that point, I'm not even there yet, I still get nervous when I hit a big number, like, oh crap.
I'm getting better now.
Yeah, see? But then once you understand and learn it, it's like, okay. I mean, yeah, especially if you have a lot of money on reserve, you don't really, I lost $5 grand. You know?
Yeah.
But for us, it's a lot, but to some people, it's just like pennies for them.
So you have to just treat a mindset. So in the future, when you buy that 1,000 shares of Apple, it's 180
1,000 shares
of Apple, 180 grand, and you say, buy, sell.
But 1,000 shares is how you make money. You know, if it goes up $1,
Then you only make
Yeah.
few trades a month, right? Otherwise, you have to be really busy, like we're on show, you have to be really busy. But you practice.
That's the reason why a lot of people buy penny stocks.
No,
Because
don't buy
if it
penny
goes-
stocks.
I'm just saying for example,
Yes.
because you know,
Small,
right, if it goes up $2, think about how much you make already.
but still, don't buy.
If it goes down $2.
Right. I know.
That happens too.
That happens too.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just practice. When building up confidence, then you can buy bigger shares so that you don't have to do as much.
Do you guys buy IPO?
No.
Never,
Heck no. Never
buy
buy IPO. No matter how attractive it looks.
Really?
You want to know why?
Why?
The reason why look at this chart, right? That's
Oh, yeah, you have to see a trend.
historical data, right?
Right.
When you buy an IPO, there is nothing to look at.
Right.
Like, how do you know it's worth this much? There's no trend. There's nothing to go by. It's all emotion.
Yeah, so like
Major gamble,
the China company, right? The China YouTube IQ came,
Right.
public, right? I mean, they were shot about 80%. You might think to yourself, man, I could have made like
Right.
double my money, but go the other way.
True.
Go
Just
the
like
other way.
GoPro.
Yeah, to the other way. So you never know. Like Facebook, remember when Facebook
Facebook
IPO?
dropped, yeah.
Tanked.
Yes. And Fed IPO is tanked. And look what happened now.
Yeah.
It went to 18, didn't it? Something 38 to 18. Yeah.
Look at Snapchat.
Oh, yeah, Snapchat's a perfect example. Dude, I tell my friend not to buy Snapchat. He bought a Snapchat at 25, now look what happens.
How should I know?
That's fine. Don't ever buy IPO. Just wait 3 months, see what happens. Because the thing is, when the first earnings report comes out, it's going to be either really good or really horrible.
So the earning statements, the earning reports are normally on their company's site, or like when you go to the stock site, you
Just go to earningswhispers.com. Make it simple. Ernest, we're type in your favorite ticker.
Or if you have Robinhood, it will show you on Robinhood.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
It
be
shows
mi-
you the volume
yeah.
too,
Yeah.
that you were talking about.
Oh.
So that like the YouTube company
Never
for
look at
China.
it.
Bottom left-hand corner.
The first earnings on July 26th, so see how they
But the
do.
only reason why I started trading was because of him. He kept telling me to join. He's like, join, I get something free or something. I was like, okay, fine.
You get one shot, go for it.
I forgot what I got.
You get unlimited trades or what? I don't know what it is.
No,
but-
just get Robinhood. It's free.
Yeah, and that's why I
there's no
started
fee.
trading because of him.
Yeah, there you go.
You go to one?
Where?
We're
Some
good.
of
Press.
This one?
Right.
All right, thank you all.
Thank
you.
Display.
Thank you.
Wait, you